What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is TishaTheBrave. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing okay. Okay, before we get into the video, I know there's at least one or two of you who haven't pressed the subscribe button. So subscribe to me and join the Bravers, which is the family name for my subscribers. Also, if you guys are into astrology and you want to know more about your natal chart, I have an Etsy store where you can book some natal reading charts with me. So the way I do this, you can either do this via Zoom or we can do a written natal chart report. Also, I do relationship compatibility reports. Those are brand new. You know, I have so much going on, so much that you could choose from. So if you click on my Etsy store, you will be able to find out. I also have a spiritual podcast that I do with my friend D. If you're interested in hearing about other people's spiritual experiences, as well as educating you on certain spiritual things, you should definitely check us out. Sisterly Synergy on YouTube. Happy Scorpio season. We moved out of Libra season, now we're into a brand new season, Scorpio season. We're in the thick of autumn right now, okay? And so I think a lot of the times when we think about a Scorpio, we think about sex, we think about intimacy, we think about transformation, but hardly ever do I ever hear anybody talk about the fact that Scorpio also governs shared finances. So when I think about the new moon in Scorpio, I'm also thinking about how we're actually spending our money, okay? So there are people who are spending a lot on people, or there are people who are receiving a lot of money from people. Now I want to address both of these things because I do think this is the time and the place for that, especially with Christmas coming up. All right, so I feel like the lighting keeps going in and out. Okay, we're gonna move forward. All right, let's talk about the people who are spending money on people first. All right, so a lot of Scorpio placement people either receive a lot of money from other people or get spent on by other people or give a lot to people, right? It's just one of those signs that kind of you get either or, right? So for those people who are spending a lot of money on those other people, I want you to consider, are these people worth it, or are you just doing things out of pity? But now remember, Scorpio energy is water sign house energy. It is, being a water sign, naturally you are compassionate. By default, you are just a compassionate person. And there are people who are there to literally suck you dry. Now, if the person you are giving money to is a person who is giving you energy in some sort of format back, then that's okay. But if it's a person who is literally draining you dry because they know they can, and you know on the inside that they are doing that, but at the same time you feel like, oh, but if I don't do it, who's gonna do it? Then you have got a problem with yourself. You are giving too much and you are not letting the person adult, you know? I always say this to grown people who are always helping grown people. Let the adults adult. There are times when adults need help. Let's not get that twisted, but at the same time, when there are people who you know that are draining you dry, you should be able to allow yourself to stop doing what you're doing to help. Because I know, as a part of spirituality, as a part of maybe religious reasons, as a part of just empathy, compassion and sympathy, that we just give and give and give and exhaust ourselves. But I also want to just say again, if they are helping you out in other ways where their energy is being matched, even if they can't, like, let's say pay for dinner back or something like that, if they're actually showing you love, care and all of that, then I'm not trying to tell you to stop doing that. But I'm not trying to tell you to stop doing what you're doing because you're being compassionate. But what I'm trying to say is be mindful of who you're spending your money on, because these people know. They know, and they're very aware that they will drain you dry, and they don't care, because as long as it's about them, it's okay. Now, if you're the person that keeps getting money spent from other people and you feel guilty, then be careful about your guilt. Now, so I'm going to be very honest here. Whenever people used to spend money on me, I would feel immense guilt, like really horrible guilt. I'm a Taurus moon. To be financially secure is literally in my moon sign. It's emotional for me to be financially secure. And then other people would just be like, oh, Tisha, no, it's fine, I got it. There will be times when you know, I would go to the coffee shop with my friend and I'll be like, oh, you order first and I'll look after all the stuff, and then they'll buy me something. Like, they'll be like, oh, which coffee do you want? I'm like, oh, it's okay, I'll go up after you, it's fine. And they'll just pay for it. And I'm just like, why would you do that? Why would you pay for me? I have the money to do it. Like, don't do that. and I would feel so guilty about it. And every single time I would tell them, you didn't have to do that, you didn't want to do that, and you don't have to do that. And every single time they'll come back to me and they'll tell me, it's okay, I wanted to do it for you. And I couldn't understand why people would want to do that for me, especially because, again, as a Taurus moon, if I'm not financially secure, I feel like there's something wrong with me. But people would always explain to me, it's like, no, Tisha, you're a good person. You know, whenever I come to your house, I feel you make me feel welcome, you cook for me, blah, 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 blah. So it didn't really ring into my mind until this year. Like, I am 28, going to be 29 in February. And it did not ring into my mind this year that maybe I am actually giving some energy that is worth whatever they're doing for me. This isn't about monetary things per se, it's about equal exchange, right? So the little things that they're doing to pay for me, it's like I give them some sort of energy in return that makes them want to do that for me. And this is not me tooting my own horn, this is me giving an example of why people would want to spend on you, so maybe you shouldn't feel as guilty when it happens, right? And the older I get and the more people want to do this for me, I do feel, I'm not going to say I don't feel guilt, it's still something that I'm working on. But I do understand that my energy is worth something. Like, I'm not a bad person, that people are actually seeing me for who I am, and that I do my very best to make people feel good about themselves, and I help them in many ways, in my gifts, in the gifts that I have. So a lot of the times when I am with my friends I haven't seen for a very long time, I'm doing their charts, I'm talking to them about like things that could be happening in atmosphere and stuff like that, and they're getting something back from me. So if you're somebody who's giving in a very loving and compassionate way, maybe not in a monetary value, but in the way that your gifts are, then people are going to use that as a way to always, you know, buy things for you, or you know what, do you want something like this, I'll get you this, or give you presents, or this or that. And it's like, you shouldn't feel guilty for receiving those things. And I know, because it was me, I felt the guilt, I'm always feeling the guilt. So it's something that I'm constantly working on. On the flip side, if you are a person that is draining somebody dry, and you know you're draining somebody dry, and you're taking advantage of people giving you gifts, I'm a true believer in that all actions have consequences, and one day the same exact thing could happen to you once you get your money up and once you get your P's up, okay? So let's be mindful of how we're treating others and how others are treating you. All right, focus on your equal exchange. If you're a person that people are paying for you a lot, focus on the equal exchange. What are you giving them back? It may not be money, but what are you giving them back? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget, I have an Etsy store. Don't forget, I have a podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. My name is TishaTheBrave. Hope you guys have a good one.